Hey guys, hope you're doing well and enjoying the sunshine. Today is really nice. The sky is blue and there's that yellow thing in the sky that's round that you see like once a year and you're like, what is that? Okay, so life is good. So in today's grammar lesson, and again, I'll keep it fast and explain and clarify anything and give examples. It's going to be some and any with countable and uncountable nouns. So I'll try to keep it as easy to understand as possible with examples. And then at the end, I hope you have a better understanding of it. That's all. Okay. So here we go. Let me roll. Oh yeah. Now, okay, cool. So it's some and any with countable and uncountable nouns. Okay, and this is good for elementary and pre-intermediate level. So starting off, we have some and any. Now, we use some and any with plural nouns. Okay, some means more than one, but the number isn't specific. Okay, so for example, I had 3 apples. Specific number, 3, right? But if you say I had some apples, it means plural. It means more than one, but we don't know. It could be 3, 4, 5. It's non-specific, but it's plural. And that's what some means. Now, in the context of using some and any, I'm going to show you. It would be, there are some eggs in the fridge. Now, this is a positive. There are positive verb. So, some eggs in the fridge. So, we use some for positive sentences with the plural. Okay, eggs. Now, there aren't any eggs in the fridge. Are not is negative in this case, like the minus. So we use any in negative sentences. So basically you use some with plurals to say more than one, okay? You in positive sentences, of course. You use any with negatives. In this case, there aren't, are not any eggs. And also, are there any eggs in the fridge? Again, you use any with plurals to ask questions. That's it. Okay. Now, we have this. Some and any with countable and uncountable nouns. So, English nouns can be countable and uncountable. So, basically, 1 banana, 2 bananas, 3 bananas. 1 bottle, 2 bottles, 3 bottles. 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. Basically, if something can be counted, it's a countable noun. Like if you can say 2, 3, 4, and whatever that is, it's countable. But then we have uncountable nouns. For example, rice and meat. Now, in this case, these are things that you can't count. Like, so you can't say 2 rices, 2 meats, etc. Also, you can't count water, you can't count air, and so on like this. Okay? Now, uncountable nouns are normally singular. So, some nouns can be countable or uncountable. So, in the example given there, if you look down here, you have ice cream. Okay, now in this case, the first one, it's countable because you have the cone. Like, so I'll have 2 ice creams, like 2 ice cream cones. And then in the second, it's uncountable because it's ice cream in general. Okay, and similar examples would be water. I mean, you can't count water, but you can count a bottle of water. Okay, or coffee. You can't count coffee, but you can count a cup of coffee. I drank 2 cups of coffee yesterday, like this. Okay, or beer. Okay, so you can't count beer, but you can count pints of beer. So I had 7 beers in Dicey's yesterday, and now my head is boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's all. So look at this. You have an, some, and any, and how it applies to countable and uncountable nouns. So the first one, it says, we need an apple. Okay, so the first one, countable, we use a and an with singular countable nouns. Okay, so a and an is 1. And you use that later. I'm going to show you this in an easier to understand way, but you can use it in positive, negatives, and questions. So if it's singular and it's countable, it's a or an. An, if then begins with an a, e, I, o, and u, or it has a vowel sound, okay, that's when you use an. The rest of the time you use a with singulars, okay? Now, the next is some apples. So if it's countable, plural, apples, then you use some. And then also butter, which is uncountable, you use some. In the negative, we don't need a tomato. We don't need any tomatoes, or we don't need any rice. So same as with countable, or the same as with the sum, it's you use any in negatives, in countables, plurals, and then also in uncountables. So any tomatoes, any rice. And then, do you need an orange, or do you need any oranges or any sugar? So again, if it's countable, plural, and if it's uncountable, you use any for questions. Okay. Now, you have this. Coming down on this, it says, we use some in questions, and I'm just reading off the little box at the bottom here, to ask for and offer things. So, can I have some sugar, please? You use some in this case to ask for something that you want. So imagine you're sitting at a table and someone is walking around and they're pouring coffee or whatever, and you want some. You're like, oh, can I have some coffee, please? So you use some in that case to ask for something you want, and also to offer. Okay, so in this case, would you like some coffee? Or imagine you have a plate full of chocolates. You would be like, oh, hey, would you like some chocolate? Or would you like some money? Yes, give me it all. Okay, so you use it to offer, and then also to ask for things that you want. And that's all. Otherwise, you're going to use any with questions. Now, to recap a little bit on this, okay, use A and N with singular countable nouns in positives, negatives, and question sentences. Okay, so there's a banana on the table. If I wanted to go negative, I would say there isn't a banana on the table. And if I wanted to question, it would be, is there a banana on the table? That's it. If you want to know the difference between a and an and when to use them, I will show you in a different lesson. Okay, so use some with plural nouns and uncountable nouns in positive sentences. Okay, so some with plural nouns in countables and uncountables. Okay, so there's some grapes or some butter on the table. Okay, so plural nouns and uncountable nouns, plural being countable. Okay, and then use any with plural and uncountable nouns, again, countable and uncountable nouns, in negative sentences and questions. So, there aren't any grapes on the table. Are there any grapes on the table? All right, so that's it simplified. Some with positive sentences of plural countable nouns and uncountable nouns, and any with negative countable nouns and uncountable nouns, and also in questions with countable nouns and uncountable nouns. That's it, okay? I know there's a lot of information there, but if you study this and you get this in, it will be pretty clear. Now, the next is exercises. Write positive, negative, and questions or question sentences with there is, there are, and then a, and, some, or any. So every sentence is going to start with, there is, or there are there, or is there, according. And then you got to put like a, and, some, or any according to what the sentence is. So you have to decide if it's countable, uncountable. Obviously, you see the tips besides. The first one's going to be a positive sentence, affirmative. The second one's a question. The third one's a question. And that's how you construct the sentences. So take 2 minutes and try your best to do this, guys. And I will take it back in the 2 minutes. So hit pause and try. Okay, so here we go. The first is positive. It's affirmative. So we're going to start now. Table. What is table? Is that single? Is that countable or uncountable? Like one table, two tables? It's countable and it's table. Okay, so it's singular. So it's going to be there is a table in the kitchen. Okay, or there's a table in the kitchen. There is, and there's is contracted. Okay, like this. Now, number two, it's a question and it's fireplace. One. Okay, so it's going to be, is there a fireplace in the living room? Because fireplace is countable, right? Like one fireplace, two fireplaces, three fireplaces, and so on. But it's a question. So you don't say there is, you invert it. You say, is there? Like this. Okay. And then you have the third one, which is also the question, but it's people. And people, countable, yeah, like 3 people, 4 people, but it's plural, okay? And plural is going to be any, okay? So it will be, are there any people in the hall? The next one, affirmative. Pictures your bedroom. So pictures, countable, but plural, okay? So if it's plural and it's countable, you need some, right? So therefore, there are, oh, sugar. My bad. My total bad, guys. This is wrong. It should be, there are any pictures in your bedroom? No, this should be, there are some pictures in your bedroom. So don't mind that. That's my fault. I'm sorry, guys. It should be, there are some pictures in your bedroom. I'm wrong. But I love you. Okay, so peace. All right. The next one, TV, the kitchen. Okay, so it's going to be, there isn't a TV in the kitchen. TV because it's singular. Okay, so it's, there isn't a TV in the kitchen. Okay, and then the last one, again, it's negative. So chairs, the dining room. Chairs, again, you can count. Okay, so there aren't, and it's going to be any chairs in the dining room. So there you go, guys. And just remember that number 4 is not pictures in your bedroom. It should be, there are some pictures in your bedroom, not any, because it's affirmative. Pictures is countable, so it should be some. My bad. But anyway, you can't get them all right, even though you should. Okay, so basically, guys, that's it. I hope that's helped you to understand a little bit better with this, okay? So basically, just remember that you have some and then any, okay? Now, some is used for plurals, for countables, and plurals, and also uncountables. So yes, and then the next one is going to be any is used for negative with countables and uncountables, and also for questions with plurals and countables. If it's singular, it's just simply a or an, and that's all. Okay, so go out, guys, enjoy the sun, or depending on the weather today, if it's raining, get a coffee or get a beer and go crazy. Okay, have a good day, guys. See ya. Bye bye.